A lot of times we'll hear people say, oh, well, you're not from here. You don't understand what it's like. You don't know what it's like. Actually, I've been here 33 years. I know Vermont. I know Vermont winters. I know all those things about the community. I've lived in every aspect of this state, and I've gotten to watch things. And I've experienced harm and trauma, at the hands of the state. And I have chosen to stay, and I deserve to stay. We all deserve to be here, right? My son, Alexander Terrell Owens, was born January 7th, 2005, and he died September 26th, 2005. 8 months, 19 days, outside the SIDS window, and had all of his checkups, all of his immunizations, and he died at an allegedly licensed daycare in Shelburne. No idea that she wasn't licensed. When you lose a child, you lose an opportunity. That was your seed, that was your growth, that was their future is what you saw. And when you lose that child, it's a gap. I got a call from the Shelburne Police Department saying, you need to go to the emergency room right away. When we got there to the emergency room, he was gone. I kid you not, it was, literally felt my chest crumble. Your kid's dead, and they're like, do you want to donate organs? It's like, don't ask me that right now. They want you to actually carry the child to the morgue. There's no warmth. It's the coldest thing you can probably ever hold. It's all gone. And keep in mind, we're in an affluent community, Shelburne. She had a full daycare, and none of us knew that she was operating an illegal business. The detectives started the process. They were asking what he ate. We didn't know anything. No pre-existing known conditions or anything like that. Medical examiner had done an initial autopsy report, and the only thing they came out with was it was an enterovirus infection. And if anybody knows what an enterovirus infection, that's basically the flu/common cold. I hired lawyers. They dropped the ball, failed. Because basically she was operating an illegal business. And if there's an illegal business, there's no homeowner's insurance, there's no nothing. She might have been selling drugs. The state's attorney that we were working with basically was like, we're gonna send these slides over to a specialist in Maryland and to figure out exactly what happened to your son. That never happened. No basic help from the lawyer. No help from the assistants. You don't get a victim's advocate if there's no cause of death. I signed up, represented myself pro se. There's about 45 minutes that don't drive up where she doesn't know what happens. The way they handle the body when they found him unresponsive, like literally was trying to splash cold water on his face. And he had a white foam on his mouth. But meanwhile, during that missing time, like her adult son showed up, and there was another adult there. So there were 3 adults in the house at that time, but nobody was watching the kids. I filed to appeal it to the Supreme Court. I spent whatever resources I had to try to push this up there. Basically, the letter that I got back from the judge says, had we had known this before, we would have been able to offer you some more support. But because the motion for summary judgment had been granted, and basically she got off the hook in that aspect, in my mind, in my world, that's pretty much where we were left at. Spent 4 years trying to get closure and justice, and still no determined cause of death. I kept logs of everything. Hundreds of times. How's it going? Where are we at now? What's going on? Did we find this? Well, we still haven't got a cause of death. So no, you don't have a cause of death. But at the end of the day, you'd almost prefer it to be anything just to know. I definitely feel they would have worked harder if the demographics of my family were a little differently. Had we both been, 2 white people, yes, I feel like there might have been a little more attention paid. Had she been a person of color, unlicensed daycare provider, I think the story would have changed. Apparently, 3 or 4 years earlier than this, she had had another child die in her daycare. And there were even DCF records. Like, there were complaints that had been made by DCF, and there was a trail. We're so understaffed in the state, DCF and all that levels, that they can't even get around to inspect the licensed daycares. And even from the 2020 and George Floyd and all those different things, like, no, there's a lot of pain and hurt in the world right now, and the only way we can get through this is by telling our truths.
you.